It's your boy, no penis. Ooh, my ankle cracked. Like, I didn't really experience dysphoria in the way that people describe experiencing physical dysphoria, which for a very long time made me think I wasn't trans, but like I am. There's no question about that. But I'm like, what if other people experience dysphoria in the same way as me? So like, does anyone else feel dysphoria that's like, it doesn't matter that much, but it's kind of akin to like, oh, that sucks. Like, yes, I do kind of wish that I like had the right body, and it's like right body, but like on the grand scheme of things, the pain is like a 3 out of 10. Like, at best, not having a inconveniences me like maybe once a week. Like, statistically, if you think about it, it's the same amount of inconveniences not owning like a kettle would cause, but like a kettle costs maybe $30.
This is your sign to have a photo shoot in the Irish countryside.
Drop the roof and let the smoke clear. I got diamonds doing twisted slides in both ears. Dice rolling on the Las Vegas strip tonight. Slip that on and we might miss the fight.
If women's bodies were made out of glass, there would be way less abortion.
If women's bodies were made out of glass, I would swallow 3 goldfish and become the first human aquarium. If women were made out of glass, I would swallow a pack of marbles and then jump up and down and watch them go clink, 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 clink. If women were made out of glass, I would use a light bulb as a butt plug, and then I'd never have to invest in a flashlight again! If women's bodies were made out of glass, I would chew up some ice, and then drink a fuck ton of soda, and then piss out a slushie. If women's bodies are made out of glass, I'm probably not gonna go bowling anymore. If women's bodies were made out of glass, I would swallow liquid silver, and then become a mirror, and stare at myself in my hand. If women's bodies were made out of glass, the glass dildo market will skyrocket.
This is my reenactment of different people walking into a room. Yeah.
Oh my god, no, because you won't believe what just happened. Your Nana just made some cookies. Your Nana just made some cookies.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, hey. Hello? Hello, I'm coming. Are you good? I'm coming in. Are you good?
Oh my god, where did you...
Can I come in? Hey, Oh, these hinges are definitely off. So, this is like your room, right?
So in light of a lot of things that have happened, a lot of people have been talking about dudes policing their friends. Like, you might not do creepy shit, but you're definitely in the social circles of dudes that do creepy shit. But I don't think most men realize how much power they have over other guys' behavior, and how much dudes are unconsciously doing things for the approval of their group. Like, when I was, in my freshman year of high school, I was kind of an edgelord, not in, a racist way, just in, a mean way. And I was in this group of friends that had these 2 older bodybuilder guys, and I don't know if they were juniors or sophomores or whatever, they're just older than us. And I remember there's a couple times that year where I'd, take a joke too far, in a really nasty way. And one of them would just be like, no, that's not cool. And, I was this raised by the internet, edgy asshole, but that was somehow just, the most crushing thing. And I remember that feeling. And I started recognizing when dudes would be doing stuff for my approval. There's a very specific way that bros act up where they want other bros to validate their behavior. And just authoritatively being like, that's not cool, is, so ridiculously powerful.
Pro tip, name yourself an insult in Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. Because then this happens. Makes them all sound so sarcastic, makes me laugh so loud. I feel like myself again. Thanks, dipshit.
What can I say? I just love your campsite, dipshit.
Rating sports based on their difficulty in Heelys. Triathlon, 8 tenths. Running and biking are 3 easy with wheels and dash shoes. Impossible to swim, cross-country skiing, 2 tenths. Gotta call it cross-continent skiing with this kin to speed. Curling, 1 tenth. Might go pro. Track and field, 0 tenths. Matthew got nothing on.
Wow, it's the Empire State Building. Let me explain this in language you understand. That is not the Empire State Building. That is the entirety of the state of California.
The dollar bean goes metal detecting in a spooky town. Part 3.
Alright guys, we are back in Spooky Town. It wasn't long until I got my first signal. This one took me a few minutes to find because it was very small. Another .22 caliber bullet for my collection. I'm not sure if the exact age, but probably late 1800s, early 1900s. I always get very excited when I see a coin because you never know what you have. That one ended up being a Lincoln Memorial penny. I'm unsure of exactly what this one is. It looks like some sort of tightening screw. If you know exactly what it is, comment down below. This one was an older weedy penny. I honestly have no idea what this one is, but it looked pretty cool, so I kept it. This next one is probably my best find of the day. It was about 8 inches down, so right there you know it's probably old. It turned out to be a cross, completely encrusted in iridescent rhinestones. At the end of the day, I left with 55 cents, one of which was a 1940 nickel, 2 pendants, a cut-off lock, and 2 unidentified objects.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell.
My top 5 concepts of TMA that, yes, were creepy, but I found fucking hilarious. Number 5 from Mag16, a spider, but it hates you. Personally. Number 4 from Mag152, the guy who loved sleeping in graves so much he turned evil. Number 3 from Mag21, otherwise known as the sky ate my fucking son. It ate my Coming in number 2 from Mag42, the band's so bad that you go mad and fucking die. Also, an honorable mention from Mag34, or as I like to call it, Bone Apple Tea. Coming in at number 1 from Mag38, we know it, we hate it. Give it up for the homophobic vase.
This is why not to call a girl cute. This is what happened. Hey, you're pretty cute in GL. Autism. What the fuck did you just say? Autism?
Yeah, sure, rejection may hurt. Look, I would know it's happened to me more than 10 times. But have you ever been called ugly by someone within the age range of 1 to 5? Because that will break you. It really will. Because, like, every once in a while you'll see a baby that's decent looking. You know, one you can look at without being visibly disgusted. And you try and conversate with them, and it ends up like this. OMG, hi. Ew. You are so ugly. Why do you look like that? Also, let's talk about the fact that you were literally 10 times darker than me. Adding to this, let's also talk about the fact how you were attracted to literally everyone and still have 0. What the f? I didn't even do anything. You should have been aborted.
Help me out here. Hypothetically, if you were some Duke Nukem, Chuck Norris type character, Dick Kickem, Arnold Schwarzenegger boy that just doesn't have fear of anything whatsoever, you're a big badass, and the military comes and they're like, hey, we need you for a specific thing, and you're like, oh, okay, Jesus, you have guns, I'm scared. So you go on your thing where you're a ways away from where you wasn't once and were and is, and there's your nemesis across the way, he's like, I finally got you now, because that's your name. You're actually a squid. You were underneath the earth. That's why you're not afraid of the things that normal human are afraid of, because you were born raised up as a squid, and it's just horrifying. So he's like, I finally know what you're scared of, and he brings out a glass of milk, because turns out squids have lactophobia, and they're afraid of milk, and you're like, oh god!
Hey, I had this thought the other day. Okay. Why don't we see more old roommates? What? Like, why don't we see them? Because, you know, people, like, stay in the same jobs, they don't get pay rises. People aren't going to suddenly be able to afford a whole other one-bedroom apartment in their 40s. Like, why don't we see more old roommates? Matt, you're talking about marriage? You know, you fall in love, you get hitched, you have kids, they become your, like, roommates, you know? Did you not think of that? I did not. Yeah, I'm not particularly surprised.
This curly looking grass is wild garlic. My parents don't really eat these and they're on their property, so they said that I could take them home. Now it's still pretty early in the spring, so the bulbs are kind of small, but this is wild garlic. Hey there, little guy, back in your home. Here's my mom helping me forage. I placed them in her greenhouse, which is about 100 degrees, for about 24 hours. This just helps to cure the garlic and let it dry out. All clean, ready to go back to Michigan. Let's make wild garlic butter. 2 containers of heavy whipping cream and a KitchenAid mixer make this easy work. I add 1 teaspoon of salt. 5 minutes of mixing, 10 minutes of mixing, 20 minutes. You can see the buttermilk at the bottom, the solids at the top. That's what we want. We're going to reserve the buttermilk. This is going to go in the fridge for buttermilk pancakes. Next, I rinse off all of my butter to get off all the residual buttermilk. Chop up your garlic. Roll your garlic into your butter and form a log. If you've ever had ramps or chives, it's a very similar flavor. Very mild garlic onion flavor. Store in fridge or freezer, eat on crackers or in dishes.
I think we need a new term for the idea of the conspiracy theory, because most of them don't have anything to do with conspiracy. Motherfuckers don't be conspiring like they used to. Half of it isn't even theories either. Most of the time it's just stuff that the FBI admits when they get bored.
You are not a member of the Fae, and you should not want to be. You can get a much more detailed description from someone who's actually Celtic or Gaelic. I'm just Scottish American. When I see people joking about the Fae, or mostly white witches to be honest, talking about how like they're a member of the Fae, they communicate with the Fae, or they're descended from the Fae, it fills me with dread. Because no, you are not. No, you shouldn't be talking to them. You should be very afraid of them. Like, we all know that story about how, like, the Fae can take your name, and it's like, oh, haha, that's very funny. No, it's not. Here are just a few of the things the Fae can do. If you give them your name, they have full control over you. They can look like anyone. They can take anyone away to their plane of existence. They have the ability to curse anything, from cattle to people to inanimate objects. Next to Kelpies, they are the thing you should be most terrified of. And there's very few ways to deal with them. If you disrespect them, you're fucked. If they manage to trick you, you're fucked. The only weaknesses that they have that I know about is that they can't lie and they have to count spilled rice.
Okay, you know how Gen Z and everybody has, we all have the freaking light strips? Is it gonna be like that? Babe, it's still gonna be like that in 20 years, like when we have kids and all this stuff.
Mom, I need to tell you something.
Oh, bestie, what do you need to talk about?
Part 2, talking about blackface. So again, the points that I made in my previous video were, this guy from Community, even though he was just cosplaying a dark elf, this is blackface. They recognized that it was blackface in the episode, and this episode has actually been taken off of air. This is literally a man from the minstrel show. They look incredibly similar. A lot of people think it's only blackface is your intent is to look like a black person, but that's not true because there's a big difference between intention versus impact. If you paint your face black to cosplay a character, it doesn't matter if that character is black or not. All me and other POC are going to see is that you are mocking black people. So how do you get around this? Well, A, if you're going to cosplay Rand, don't cover your entire face black. You can cosplay your cheeks black or parts of your face. Use a really dark gray, but that is not black and cannot be construed as black, like Homestuck cosplayers. You could paint yourself a dark purple. That also works. Normal Rambu cosplays where half of it's only black, that's okay, that's not blackface, don't worry.
I know that /POS is the tone indicator for positive, but it is so funny to read comments like, your style is so unique. Piece of shit.
So I just donated blood. No, I'm not a hero, but I am O positive, so I am better than you. And I'm oh so positive of it. It's kind of a weird concept. I basically just traded a gallon of the liquid that keeps me alive for some fucking socks. Not even socks, a fucking voucher for socks. Probably the real reason I'm a communist is that I'm so bad at bartering, but it's kind of weird that we just have a building dedicated to sucking you dry and like no one says anything about it. Actually there's 2 buildings like that in Kirkwood, so ladies, if you want to stop by my house. But yeah, they ask you a bunch of questions to see if you're eligible, and like one of them is you're not eligible if you were in Britain between the years of 1980 and 1996. They also ask you your birth year, so I feel like the fact I was born in 2000 should answer that question. But the reason is it's about mad cow disease, but I think it's generally good policy not to accept British blood. Like imagine like you send your kid into the hospital for a blood transfusion and like they go in with cancer and they come out going fucking oi governor in it bruv. Like I'd rather they have the cancer.
See, I've been doing this for 2 years, and every single time that I break a pair of goggles, I'm going through about 25, by the way. Literally 25 pairs. I'm not even shitting you, because I like to chew on them sometimes. And, you know, because I be hungry, and we don't have a lot to eat here. But anyways, so what happens is my soul falls out of my ass.
Hey, let's make a sculpture in Blender. Let's take this man, and let's bend him in different ways that he probably should never be bent. Ever, and then let's add a man, and add another man, and add 2 more, and now we have 6 men that are being held together. Is it like an outside magical force, or is it like a virus, or some sort of like crazy, weird situation? I don't know, man, but it looks kind of cool. We're adding lots of striations, and we have this like, what is it gonna look like? It has to be like striation-y and like muscly and gross looking. A quick tip for you guys is if you take a rock texture brush and make it organic, it's gonna be disgusting. Try it out. It's like this road rash. It's gross. And we're gonna sculpt in these happy faces. They're just so excited to be here, all happy to be friends and all together. And we're just gonna quickly finish it up with some finalizing details. A quick note setup when we have an aged gold texture. Now I'm 3D printing this as we speak, and I'm gonna hand paint it, so it'd be pretty cool if you liked and followed and checked out the video.
You and all your science magic over there can't stop me from licking this sticker, Hank.
So lick it. Lick the sticker. You got an immune system, you'll be fine. You and your weird Polaroid picture of Will Smith on the wall. This affects me not at all.
I think that feminine gay girls, they have like a certain look to them.
Yes, and this definitely relates. Just saw a video of a girl saying that she's the kind of pretty that only girls find pretty. I'm so sorry, I don't have a lot of time. For the sake of the argument, I'm gonna say man versus woman. I am non-binary, there's a lot more to this. Women are art, but men perceive women as porn. You are still art regardless. But if you center men in your lives, you're going to adopt their perception and end up adjusting your body or your style according to how you think men is best. Not saying that gay women can't also succumb to patriarchal beauty standards, but body modifications, how you dress, you can tell when someone centers men in their lives. With femme lesbians, oftentimes why they can be feminine or masculine is because they've decentered men and they're now making artistic choices through their perception of art itself. You know, and that's like how that girl said, I'm pretty in the way that other girls think that girls are pretty, is because you're not looking through the lens of porn, you're looking through the artistic lens. So your art, I'm trying